stand here. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare, Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. No, I have to get the sun there. Krishna. Yeah, this is better than Hollywood. Okay, so today we're going to talk about, Today we're going to talk about the external manifestation of Bhava. Laura, can I have your phone? 'Cause these dogs like class a lot.
Yeah, but not on my lap.
Record. So there's internal symptoms of Bhava and there's external, right? And we have we discuss the internal symptoms, such as Romancha Kampashru Taranga Bhajo Bande Gorosi Charana Davindam. Roma means hair, Kampa, Ashru, choking, tears, perspiration, hair standing on end, things like that. Rolling on the ground. And then you have external signs, such as taste for the holy name and utilizing one's time, detachment, attraction for Krishna's pastime. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, because that's an interesting topic. Is that all right? I have your permission. As you're probably well aware of, there are many classes of men who exhibit the internal symptoms, but don't have the external actions to make us believe that the internal symptoms are valid. So this is a verse from, I believe it's Nectar of Devotion. Let me see. These are called Anubhavas, yeah. It's from Nectar of Devotion, 3rd chapter. First wave, 3rd chapter. Anu means to follow. So you have the bhavas, the ecstasies, and then these follow, and these are the external symptoms of how you behave. Shantir avyartha kalatvam viraktir mana sunyataha ashabanta samutkanta namagana sadaruchi asakti-stad gunak jnane pritistad vashati stale iti adhayo nubhavashur jato bhavan kara jane. So, we're going to go word by word. The first symptom is shantir, which means forbearance or forgiveness. This is, we talk about forgiveness, but if you make it to the stage of Bhava, you don't have to worry, because you'll have it. The only question is, will you get there if you don't have it? When you get there, you'll have forgiveness. But if you don't have it, you might not get there. Catch-22. You know Catch-22? You understand? Catch-22? Catch-22 is, this is the way to go. You go that way. But where you want to go is there. but you can't get there that way, so you have to go that way. But if you go that way, then you have to go all the way around, and you end up over here. So it doesn't work this way, and it doesn't work that way. I don't know the history of Catch-22. There's got to be a reason. Oh. So when you come to the stage of Bhava, you get forgiveness, get all these qualities. But if you're not forgiving now, you may not get to the stage of Bhava. Or at least it'll help you get there faster. Now Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, yeah, that's good. Do it till your arm gets tired. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that when you have humility, which is another symptom of advancement, when you have humility, then you think, someone has hurt me, but actually I shouldn't get upset with them because I'm not that important. And so it's not worth hurting another person on my account. So I just won't get upset. That was his definition of humility in relation to forgiveness. I'm not that important enough to get mad at somebody else. I'm not that important enough to make someone else's life miserable. So that humility leads to forgiveness. So let's just let it go, because I'm not that important. And if I'm resentful, then I'm punishing him. So I'm not that important that I should punish anybody. Right? And then one of the other symptoms here is detachment. And so this is also a kind of detachment. If someone hurts you, you don't retaliate. And detachment is broad spectrum. There are many aspects of life where detachment comes in. But Rupa Goswami explains, or it's explained by Jiva Goswami, I'm not sure which, that naturally you could imagine you're on the stage of Bhava, you actually realize who you are in Krishna Lila, you'd become pretty detached from the material world, don't you think? Like it wouldn't be that amazing. Like what Britney Spears is doing today will not be that interesting when you're in the stage of Bhava. Or what some movie star is doing, or what Donald Trump is doing, or what some sports team is doing. It's just not going to be that interesting. So naturally, detachment follows. Right? It has to follow. When you're in the stage of Bhava, you're experiencing ecstatic symptoms. So why would you have any attachment on this plane? There's no ecstasy here. Right? So that's natural symptom. And if someone is feigning ecstasy and they're not detached, it doesn't make any sense. Because ecstasy is a symptom of Bhava. And when you're experiencing that level of transcendental pleasure, you have to be detached. Right? So, to have 10 girlfriends and be feigning ecstasy, it doesn't go together. Even one. Let's speak of 10. And this is common. Okay, so another symptom is abhyartha kalatvam. That means they don't waste time. Just like you may know that Prabhupada didn't like to sleep. He really was not fond of sleeping. And he didn't like his disciples to sleep very much. And one time Prabhupada had insomnia, and he kind of liked it, because he thought sleeping was a waste of time. So insomnia means you can't sleep. So Prabhupada saw it as a kind of liberation. I can't sleep, so I'm liberated. So, we have insomnia, we see it as a disease. Prabhupada kind of saw it as a blessing. All of you out there who are wondering what's going on, there's some event at the school, sporting event?
Yeah.
Sports day, it's football. I guess they're playing in Somebody's announcing. So, yeah. That's what's going on. Background noise. Okay. Asha Banta. Asha means great hope. And Banta means bound. Prabhupada translated it as hope against hope. You understand hope against hope? You have a desire, and what you want is impossible to achieve. That's hope against hope. I'm hoping I can get this, but it's impossible to get. But because I want it, I still pursue it, even though I don't think I have any qualification to get it or any reason to get it. That's hope against hope. Right? Yeah, well that's, yeah. So in the Nectar Devotion there's a prayer, I think it's Rupa Goswami's prayer. And basically, he's listing all the reasons he's unqualified to be Krishna conscious. The beginning of the prayer is, I don't have this, good birth, pious activities, knowledge, I don't have anything good, no good qualities, not a good family. He lists all the disqualifications. And the second half of the prayer is, he said, but Krishna, even though I don't have the qualification, I want you. And I can't give up that hope. I just can't give it up. So that's kind of like the transcendental paradox of Krishna consciousness. That we have a desire to achieve something that we're not qualified for. And so in one sense you could say, you shouldn't have that aspiration, you're not qualified. And the devotee says, I know, but I have it. I can't give it up. Because Krishna is so attractive, I can't give up the aspiration even though I don't have the qualification. And then the end of the prayer, Rupa Goswami says, but you're most merciful to the most fallen, so I know that I can have this aspiration, and you will fulfill it. So even though it doesn't make sense that without qualification I'd have the aspiration, what brings it all together to make sense is that you're merciful to the fallen. So I know you'll fulfill my aspiration. So that's why we have aspiration, because we know Krishna's Mahaprabhu is merciful, spiritual master is merciful, Prabhupada's merciful. So, I mean, what we can say on the stage of Bhava, there's no question that the only thing you want is Krishna. And that hope you'll never give up. Even if what you want is so great, you'll never give up that hope. You know, in lower stages, sometimes devotees give up, right? I can't do it. Why try? Some give up completely, and some continue, but they've actually given up, but they continue kind of half-heartedly. Stage of Bhava, you won't give up. Your desire for Krishna is so intense that you won't let anything stop you, and you'll just go on, even if you don't think you're qualified. But you know, it's like the guy who wants the $1 million mansion, and he can't even find a job, but he has that desire. 20 years later, you see him in the mansion. So he couldn't give up that desire. Right? Samutkanta. Samutkanta means eagerness. And, if you think about it, and we've talked about this a lot, that our desire to be Krishna conscious is really the main thing. And that desire, although you could say that desire is conditioned by the modes of nature, still, even if you fall into the mode of ignorance temporarily, still you could manifest a strong desire to get out of the mode of ignorance. So that desire or that eagerness is something that matures in the stage of Bhava. It's greed, it's intense. It's, I have to have Krishna. I have to enter Krishna Lila. But in our stage, it's not mature. In the stage of Bhava, it's mature. It's just the way you are. But in our stage, it's a hope, it's a wish, it's a desire. So eagerness in our stage is different than eagerness in that stage. But as we said before, that Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, even the beginning stage of devotional service, Shraddha, is the beginning of Bhava. So there's some Bhava there. So naturally there's eagerness on every level. But this eagerness is like, it's like Ashabandha. You have to have it. It's just like there's nothing else. There's nothing else in your life. This is it. You have to have it. And with that eagerness, it just absorbs your mind in thinking of Krishna and thinking of your relationship with Him. You know, if you're eager to have something, don't you think about it? I need a new something, and I've just seen the advertisement, and it's perfect for what I need. And I'm just thinking about it all the time, how perfect that would be. And I'm really eager to get it. You know, a lot of devotees say, how do you think of Krishna all the time? And one answer, which is more of a textbook answer, which is not the one we really would normally give, is you can't unless you love Him. Well, you could say, how could I think of so-and-so Prabhu all the time? Well, if you fall in love with Him, you'll think of Him all the time. If you don't, how would you think of Him all the time? You wouldn't. You'd forget Him. You'd get hungry and you'd eat, and you'd forget Him. You'd get tired and you'd sleep and you'd forget Him. And you'd go in the morning to the temple, you chant your rounds. So then you wouldn't think of Him. So if I just tell you, think of so-and-so Prabhu, how are you going to think of that person all the time? Unless you have love or hate, one or the other. Right? So of course, our philosophy is think of Krishna by hearing, seeing Him in nature, thinking of the leelas of the devotees and so on. But everybody knows that thinking of Krishna, even when you're chanting japa, is a huge challenge. And Prabhupada has not encouraged us to artificially think of leela. Because Prabhupada said that on this stage, Samudkanta, you'll think of leela. That's natural. So when you're on the level of Bhava, your eagerness is pretty intense. And that eagerness is causing you to be completely fixed on Krishna. So, when will I be able to think of Krishna always? When you have love. That's the ultimate solution. Like every solution, every problem is solved on some level of devotional service. Oh, Prabhu, when will I get this? Because I really want to get it. And I say, I know you want to get it, but you're on this level. That's like the first level of the store. But the men's department is on the second level. So you want to get your men's pants and shirt and coat, you have to go to the second level. It's not sold on the first level. So really when we're on this level, all we're doing is we're looking upstairs and I can see everything, but I can't really access it. But you want to get your men's clothes, you have to go to that level. So many of the problems we have now, they're resolved when you get to another level of devotional service. Oh, I always want to think of Krishna when I chant my rounds. I want to have a taste. I want to be absorbed. I want to be humble. I want to be all these things you want. Don't worry, when you get to Bhava, you'll have it all. But you want them on a lower level. That's just a practice. You have to practice it. It doesn't come naturally. A little bit you'll get. At the next level, a little more you'll get. The next level, a little more you get. But there's certain levels where you'll get it. The things you want, you'll get on. So the solution, the ultimate solution, is just you advance in Krishna consciousness, and then you get all these things. Solves a problem, right? You understand? So, like sometimes we get discouraged because we're not on a certain level. We're not experiencing what a devotee experiences on another level, and we're on a lower level and we want to experience it now. So that's like illegal, so to speak. You'll get it temporarily. when you're engaged in very powerful devotional service, you'll experience a lot of it. But to be stable in it, or to be very deep in it, that comes when you go higher. So it's kind of, to me, it's almost a desire that you could, it's a good desire that you want it, but it's a bad desire if you're impatient. Like you want something that's on this level, and you're on this level, and you're discouraged that you don't have it. I say, well, if you want it, just go to the second floor, or the third floor, or the fourth floor. Well, you want something on the third floor that's not available on the first floor. You have to figure out how to get to the third floor, right? So that's a lot of the problem. I'm so this, I'm so that. When is this going to happen? When is this? It's right there in the books. It's going to happen on this stage. So figure out how to get to that stage, and you'll get it. When am I going to stop lamenting? When am I going to stop this? When am I going to experience that? Not on the stage of bhajana kriya or nartha nivritti. It has to go higher. Right? Now, the next one, very nice. Nama Gane Sadaruchi. Gane means a group. So a group of names. Sada, always ruchi. I'll always have taste for chanting. It's kind of like you're having a feast, or even not having a feast. Then they serve the dessert. It's like really good. So what do you say if it's really good? When the server comes around and he says, do you want more? And it's really good, what do you say? And if it's not really good, what do you say? No. So when you're chanting Hare Krishna and there's not much taste, when you hit the 16th bead, what do you say? No, thank you, I'm fine. No more. And when you're getting taste and you hit the 16th bead, say, could I have seconds? That's Nama Gane Sadaruchi. That's the meaning of it. Right? It's so sweet, you just want to keep chanting. Now, you could just imagine your life if that's how you felt. You just have this amazing taste for chanting. If you want to experience that, then you have to come to Bhava. And you have to come to Bhava by trying to get a taste now. And so, in the japa workshop, we try to help you get that taste. That will push you further ahead, so you arrive quicker in Bhava when you really get the taste. I was telling the devotees this morning on the morning walk that you have two things going on in your life. One is your desire for material enjoyment, and one is your desire to taste Krishna consciousness. The only problem is one nullifies the other. Just like we say, raso vajam raso pyasya param drishtani vartate. So the taste nullifies the desire for sense gratification, but the desire to enjoy nullifies the taste. It works both ways. You can't get one without the other. Oh, Prabhu, I want a taste. At the same time, I want a taste of Maya. Then you don't get the taste of Nam. Visaya charya kabe shuddha habe mana. When will I lose my desire, Vishaya, for sense gratification, and be able to taste Shuddha Nam? That's the prayer. So he's making that point. When I have a desire for sense gratification, and why am I not tasting the name? I'm chanting every day. Why am I not tasting the name? Why am I not tasting? Because we're trying to taste something else that's not Krishna conscious, and that nullifies the ability to taste the name. Yes? Doesn't it? It nullifies our ability to taste it. And so if you're wondering why taste is lacking, maybe lacking, it must mean that the taste for something not Krishna conscious is increased, and therefore taste decreases. That's the way it works. It works both ways. Visaya charira kabe shuddha habe mana.
What's the exact translation for Nama Gana Sada Ruchi?
Ruchi means taste, sada means always. It means always tasting, chanting a group of names.
Of a group of names. Gana is
Well, Gana, it's just, it just means mala, always on the mala, always chanting. Let me see how they translate it here. A taste for chanting the holy names of the Lord. Asakti stad gunat kyame. And that is descriptions, attachment to descriptions. Asakti means attachment. So it means attachment to the descriptions of hearing. You like to hear about Krishna. You're actually attached to it. If you're attached to something, you do it all the time, right? So, natural symptom of advancing in devotional service is you're attached to everything about Krishna. The holy places, the devotees, the leelas, the name, everything, the deities. That's what you're attached to. So naturally attached to the Dham. But you think about Krishna, you think about his qualities, think about the Dham. That's the last one. Pritistad vasati stale. You are attached to the places where Krishna had his lila, stale. Vasati stale, where he resided. You like New York City or you like Vrindavan? You like Calcutta or you like Vrindavan? You like Las Vegas or you like Vrindavan? You see, you can understand the modes that a person's in by what they like, right? Just like people drink alcohol. So alcohol is a pretty obnoxious substance. So to be able to drink it, and what to speak of enjoy it, that means mode of ignorance. So I was, where were we? Oh yeah, we were Rasamrita Kunj. We were Rasamrita Kunj yesterday. Was it yesterday? Sunday. Today's Monday. Yeah, yesterday. And so Braj Kumar was saying, it's very quiet out here. He said, in fact, it's so quiet that some devotees can't sleep. Because they live in cities and they're used to noise. And it freaks them out that there's no noise, believe it or not. He said, but when the sannyasis come, they say, I've never slept so well in my life. Because they're always they're not liking the city so much, but they're always in the city preaching. So, whatever mode you're in will it's reflected in your attachments. So naturally, if you're in Bhava, what are you going to be attached to? New York or Vrindavan? Beer or milk? Give someone a glass of milk and beer and see what they take, and then you'll understand something about them. Kirtan or rap? Or even just classical music or rap? Yes? So this is common sense natural that a devotee would be attached to living in the holy Dham. So I'll read the translation. When the seed of ecstatic emotion for Krishna fructifies, the following 9 symptoms manifest in one's behavior: forgiveness, parenthesis, forbearance; concern that time should not be wasted; detachment; absence of false prestige. Oh, okay. Mana sunyataha. Yeah. Amanina manadena. Mana means wanting to be praised. Right? Yes? Mana? Is that Bengali also? Mana? Amana, I want to respect others without wanting respect and giving respect to others. So, mana, sunyataha, means make the desire to be honored sunya, zero. This is I think it's important to talk about. I missed that one. A symptom of advancing in devotional service, you absolutely have no desire to be honored by anybody. Isn't that interesting? And we say that human beings' greatest need is to be acknowledged, to be appreciated. But in the stage of Bhava, it doesn't really manifest. At least you may appreciate it if people appreciate you, but the desire to be honored, to inflate your ego, there's nothing there. Nothing to hide, nothing to show. That's nice, huh? Wouldn't it be nice to be in the stage of Bhava? Have all these symptoms? What?
Bhava is too little.
That's a good start. If you get used to Bhava, then you can... No, because when you get to Prema, you just get more Bhava. Prema is just an increase of Bhava. So all these experiences, they increase. There will be more, but the ones you have increase. So you'll be happy when you're in Bhava. You won't complain. Okay. Absence of false prestige, hope, eagerness, a taste for chanting the holy name of the Lord, attachment to descriptions of the transcendental qualities of the Lord, and affection for those places where the Lord resides. That is, a temple or holy place like Vrindavan. These are all called anubhav, subordinate signs of ecstatic emotion. They are visible in a person in whose heart the seed of love of God has begun to fructify. So as we said many times, Bhava is the seed. So when the seed starts fructifying in the heart, these things manifest. Then you might say, but it seems that these things are manifest in lower stages, and they are, but they're not as manifested as fully. Just like, for example, the gopis have friendship with Krishna, although they have conjugal. And they also have parental affection, and they also have the mood of a servant. Because in every rasa, the elements of the previous rasa are there. But the gopis' friendship and motherly affection is more intense than the cowherd boys' affection or Mother Yasoda's. So, as we progress in devotional service, so many of these symptoms will be seen in little seed forms. And then as you get to the stage of Bhava, they just intensify. And then on the stage of Bhava, they're constant and much more intense, more fully developed. So that's why you see them in every stage, but not fully developed. Is that okay? We have a question. What about when you have to focus on your material life, like your job, to make money, to survive, and this nullifies our taste? It is not sense gratification, but a necessity to make money. But it still nullifies taste. Oh, okay. So she's asking, not that I'm negligent As I said, I'm working and I'm losing my taste. Well, here. Right now there are devotees sitting here listening to this. They're in Mayapur. Do you know why they're here? They like Mayapur and they don't like working. And that's why they're here. They work just enough to get here so they don't have to work for a long time. That's why they're here. So that's one option. The other option is you're going to have to figure out how to work and be Krishna conscious. So, Andy, your exercise. Well, Andy, if you come to India, they call you Andi. So, and because it's not, the A's are not they're ah. So sometimes I call you Andi. Take out a piece of paper, write on the piece of paper, how can I be Krishna conscious if I'm working? Or how can I be Krishna conscious at work? Write that on top of the piece of paper. And I want you to write down 20 answers. And if you only come up with 15, you have to write 20. That's the assignment. And just do it, and you'll get the answer, believe me. And anyone else who has that problem, they can do the same thing. How can I be Krishna? I'm in a situation I can't be Krishna conscious. Write that on a piece of paper. How can I be Krishna conscious in this situation? And write 20 answers. It has to be 20, no less. It can be more, but not less. And if after 20 answers you don't feel satisfied you got the right answer, the next day write that question on the top of a piece of paper and write 20 more answers. And eventually you'll get the answer. Krishna will show you how you can do it. You'll be amazed. You can actually do it. In other words, don't ever say, I can't do it. At least don't give in that easily. Or if the environment is impossible, then you need another job. So you have to determine that. Is it the environment or is it me? Or maybe a little of both. Okay, now there's another point. When I first heard these symptoms of Bhava, these external symptoms, like utilizing every moment in Krishna's service, there's so many devotees do that. Hare Krishnas are workaholics. Hare Krishnas are workaholics on steroids. Hare Krishnas work so hard. Hare Krishnas do not like to waste time. They like to utilize every moment. Right? You agree? Generally, yes. We have a mission. Aside from the mission, we have so many books to read and so many rounds to chant. So it's like there's not enough time. So we don't like to waste time. When Hare Krishnas take naps, they take naps for 5 minutes, not for an hour. You know, it's like, well, the real Hare Krishnas do. Are you a real Hare Krishna? How long do you nap for? So, and this Prabhu, he's humble. And this Prabhu, he's so eager to go out and distribute Prabhupada's books. It looks like they have ecstatic symptoms. It looks like they're on the level of Bhava, doesn't it? It seems like they have all these symptoms. So, the point is, on the level of Bhava, these symptoms are deeper and constant. That's the difference. And on different levels, they're just like sprouting. Now, what's most interesting thing about Krishna consciousness is even if you don't have these symptoms, you can still live like you do have them. So, all of us shouldn't waste time. And all of us should hope against hope. And all of us should be humble. And all of us should have, what is it? forbearance and detachment and humility. We should all have these things. But for us, they're going to have to be practiced. So sometimes devotees will read this verse and they'll think, okay, when I come to the stage of Bhava, I'll have all these. So for now, I'll just sit back and relax, do my devotional service, and wait for these qualities to develop. It's not a good idea. Because as I would always say, what if they don't develop? What if you sit back and they don't develop? Then what? Then what do you do? Prabhu, why are you eating so much? Well, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita it says that a pure devotee only eats as much as required. So I'll stop overeating when I become a pure devotee. Does that make sense? That's like, we can do a play. We'll call it Math According to Bhakta Burfi. That's math according to Bhakta Burfi. Well, when I become purified, I'll stop overeating. And I'm just a conditioned soul, so that's why I overeat. You understand? Math according to Bhakta Burfi. Bad math.
But if you take prasharam,
Not if he overeats. Not if he's voraciously overeating. Maybe we have to write a book called Math According to Bhakta Burfi. So what's being explained here is that on the stage of Bhava, you have all 9 at the same time. Not the appearance of one for a few hours, the appearance of one on another day, 2 on a good day for 2 hours, 1 on a bad day for 1 hour. They're constant. So I think we talked about this before. By hearing this, it should stimulate a desire to achieve it. Wow, this is amazing. I would love to achieve the stage of Bhava. And by hearing, you get inspired. Right? Are you inspired?
how can somebody survive with all the 9 symptoms all the time?
How can somebody be so?
Survive, when you have
Survive.
all the 9 symptoms all the time.
Not the ecstatic symptoms, but the external. How can he survive when he has all the 9 symptoms all the time? He can't, because they're not constant. I mean, if you're a Bhajananandi, Haribol, if you're a Bhajananandi maybe, it won't bother you. Now, now there's a discussion in Nectar of Devotion about something interesting. Which is called reflective and shadow attachment. And it said sometimes Mayavadis also experience these ecstatic emotions. But it's all messed up with the desire to become Krishna. So it's called a reflection of the real thing. It looks like it, but it's not. It's all... Mayavads do bhakti to become one. So there's something wears off. And sometimes they reflect, but their whole motive is to be Krishna. So, sometimes they get lucky and they get dissociation of a pure devotee. And they become purified. But Rupa Goswami is making the point is that not everyone who exhibits all these symptoms is Krishna conscious, because they may be doing it from the impersonal personal perspective, trying to become Krishna. So let me read something to you. Sometimes neophyte devotees or impersonalists display a semblance of ecstatic symptoms, ratyabhas, without ill intent. In other words, they're not doing it to show off. Such symptoms are a sign of unexpected good fortune caused by the influence of other devotees, other great devotees. So, sometimes in the presence of a pure devotee, they reflect. They reflect the emotions of the pure devotee, but they're not. It's not real bhava, because everything that's coming to them, they're manipulating it or using it for impersonal realization. They just want to use it to become. So let me read you something. Have you heard that term before? Chaya and pratibimba. Anybody heard that? Reflective and shadow. It's described in the Nectar Devotion as, in terms of faith, a semblance of faith. So it looks like they have great faith, but they have great faith in merging. It looks like they have faith in bhakti, but it's for merging. And the other kind is they use bhakti to gratify their senses. So it's this weird position where they're getting something from bhakti, but they're channeling it either in liberation or sense gratification. Anyway, it's a whole subject. Does anyone have any questions?
Is it that the Mayavadis use all this bhakti to come to God or whatever? They use bhakti as starting point.
Yeah. You see, like if you have an aspiration, that everything you see in the world and everything you try to accomplish, it relates to that aspiration. So you employ it in that aspiration. This is what I want. So whether it's resources, whether it's knowledge, whatever comes to me, I employ it in the pursuance of my goal, right? So if I'm a Mayavad and I learn that bhakti will help me achieve liberation, so that I'll be anxious to do bhakti because I can employ that in my goal. And if I'm if I'm interested in material enjoyment, and I hear that bhakti will give me some blessing to enjoy, then I'll do that. So externally it may look the same. And in
When we engage in bhakti, is it possible that we change the direction also, or are we so fixed that we are?
generally for Mayavadis it won't happen, but by association of pure devotees it can happen. And they get this, yeah. That's the main idea. What we had a Mayavadi. We had a Mayavadi join in 1970 in Los Angeles. Like an Indian Mayavadi, like the real thing. That's the only Indian Mayavadi I've ever seen join ISKCON. ISKCON is putting down impersonal liberation, so why would they want to join? Of course, he joined because he wanted to become a devotee. And he had a really difficult time giving up his impersonal tendencies. And in those days, you would join on Monday and be on book distribution on Monday night, basically. You'd be on the traveling party a week later. And a week later you'd be initiated. Yeah. Okay, a little exaggeration, but it's something like that. And at least the day you join, you'd go out in Harinam, because that was a regular practice. 10, 20, 30, 40 devotees would go out every day and chanting. So when this Mayavadi joined, Prabhupada said, just read. For 1 year, study my books. Don't go out, don't preach, don't do anything. So, you'll find very few Mayavadis, real Mayavadis, becoming devotees. What was your point? I forgot. I'm so tired I forgot.
No, I wanted just to know why the Mayavadis not become devotees when they start this bhakti.
Oh yeah. They're using bhakti, and also it's hard to give up that tendency. Now, if Prabhupada didn't come to preach in the West, probably we'd all be Mayavadis right now. And probably some of us wouldn't even know we're Mayavadis. Because that's, at least if you know, maybe you could kind of think it out a little better. So, Prabhupada's prana mantra is that he's saving the West from Mayavad and Sunyavad. So that's Prabhupada's mission. And without teaching personalism, everyone who gives up Christianity or gives up an Abrahamic religion becomes a Mayavadi. At least if they take Indian religion. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but evolutionary theory is so pervasive today that even spiritual people talk about it. They talk about, well, when we were cavemen, and when we were hunters and gatherers, or when we evolved from just, pure Darwinian or some neo-Darwinian evolution, it's pervasive. It's like, even with spiritual teachers, it's just cliche common knowledge. And in India, in Eastern religion, Mayavad's like that. It's just like, that's what it is. It's common, it's just common. So Prabhupada saved us. We got saved from the invisible God. That'll be another good book title. Being saved from the invisible God. Or you can title it this, How I Was Saved from Becoming a Hindu. Or you could entitle it, How I Was Saved from Becoming a Shmindu. Or How I Was Saved from Becoming a Hindu Shmindu. A mixed up Hindu. No. A bit of Kali, a little bit of Durga, some Lakshmi Narayan, some Sitaram, some Shivlinga, mix in some samskars and pujas, do puja to your new car, whatever. Just mix it all in. It's called the Shmindu. Yeah. Oh, we have more questions? All right. No, that Mayavadi, the Prabhupada said stay a year. I don't think he made it a year. I think 6 or 7 months he left. So I was there and I don't remember him being around. In order to develop my preaching, sometimes I look at what's being preached. Go to YouTube and look at the more well-known gurus and teachers. All impersonal. Even the personalists are somewhat impersonal in the Western world because they're not clear on the nature of God. So we should feel very fortunate to be saved by Prabhupada. Right? And sometimes I hear these people speak, and they're very intelligent, but they're not guided by Prabhupada. So their philosophy, at some point, it breaks down. It just doesn't work. It's just something missing that they can't know. And they tend to conclude according to their limited vision, and it becomes very impersonal. Like, for example, what's common now, what's politically correct now, is not to call God God, just the universe. God or the universe, whatever you want to call it. That's a direct quote from one of the most popular spiritual teachers. God, or call the universe, whatever you want to call it, or whatever you want to call he or she, or it's like okay, Krishna has now become the universe. How would you like to marry the universe? The universe, he likes girls, so would you like to marry the universe? How would you like to have a relationship with the universe? Very intimate, you can go out to dinner, you're always with him, he's everywhere, you're never separated. So God has been replaced in popular spirituality by the universe. That wasn't going on when Prabhupada was here, but I would guess that Prabhupada's response to that would be, they don't know what God is, therefore they say universe. Or he would just say that's the Virata Rupa. They can't understand beyond the Virata Rupa. And the Virata Rupa is for those who only see God materially. So God is the universe. That's what you can see. Right? The universe told me. It's not the universe, it's Paramatma. It's personal. Every time that information goes out and gets in the ear of people, people are so oh, I have to tell you what I saw. Now you know what I do in my spare time. I study atheism, I study fanaticism, fanatical religions, fanatical religious movements in people, the psychology of fanatics. So there's this one man, it's a very popular Saturday night talk show host, comedy, but he's an atheist. So he did a comedy routine using a book a Christian has written. And this book is one of the most popular Christian books ever written. So he's reading what this guy's saying. And basically what he's saying, it's the same as what we say. It was I don't know, basically it was what we say, at least what I heard. And this guy is making jokes out of it, because he's an atheist. He says God is everywhere, we should do everything for God, and he'll make jokes about it. God's everywhere, how come I didn't see him, just really stupid jokes at the expense of God. And the audience is clapping and laughing. It's so sick. It's like the sickest thing you could... He's basically blaspheming God in the form of jokes, and the audience is laughing and clapping. It's so sick. Well, my point is, maybe they don't know better, but it's just getting really bad. Isn't it? It's just so bad. That's the culture. And when you don't, that's a culture, but it's also because Christianity has failed people. Islam has failed, Judaism, it hasn't given scientific knowledge of God. So then people can say this, and nobody can defeat it, so they just laugh at it and go, yeah, this is all stupid. All these religious people are stupid. Prabhupada would sometimes say, we know God's name, we know his address, we know who his mother is, we know who his father is. Have his telephone number, everything. He would say like that. Just to distinguish us from others. So just count your blessings that you have come in touch with Prabhupada. Feel sorry for those who haven't, because even though there are many good souls there and they have some knowledge of God, there's so much is missing, and so many people are being misled into Mayavad. Is there any way we can use Mayavadi philosophy to our advantage? Are there any benefits to it besides using Mayavadi philosophy to get you to smile during photo shoots? Oh yeah. Whenever we do photo shoots, I would preach Mayavad philosophy because it would make me laugh. Like sometimes we do like active shoots and I go, okay, I'm going to speak Mayavad. But I guess that's probably dangerous, but it was funny. There is a way you can use Mayavada philosophy. Well, if you meet a Mayavadi, you just tell them, you let them speak, and then you speak back what they said. So this is what you believe. This thing. Either Mayavad or impersonal. And you can tell them, said, oh, that's just the first stage of God realization. Would you be interested in the second or third? So that's just like a polite way of making them feel like they're in elementary school. But that's fine. That's the first stage. The other thing you can do is if you're presenting, they present that, and you say, yeah, I know that. That's what everyone will tell you. But I can tell you what everybody won't tell you, which is much higher and much more esoteric, if you're interested. I mean, only if you're interested. If you're not, that's fine. You know. But what I could tell you is so much deeper, more profound, more elevated than what you've heard. So it's, you can use it that way. Like, yeah, I know, this is what everybody says. But I won't tell you what everybody says. I'll tell you what everybody doesn't say, which is so much better. There's another thing you can say, which Prabhupada says in the 4th chapter of the Gita. He said, sometimes people become impersonalist because it's a psychological issue. They've been burned out in the material world, and so they don't want any relationships because all the relationships went bad. So I don't want any relationship, not even with God. Didn't work with my wife, didn't work with my mother, didn't work with my sister, didn't work with my uncle, didn't work with my best friend. We got in a fight. I don't want relationships. Prabhupada said they're a prime candidate for impersonalism. It's a very interesting concept if you meditate on it. So what you could do is ask somebody, do you have problems? Someone says, I'm an impersonalist, and say, do you have problems with relationships? And they'll say, well, what does it have to do with anything? I said, well, it has a lot to do with it, because if you have had bad relationships here, then you're thinking the relationships there are similar to the relationships here. And you're projecting on the spiritual the material. So it's not actually philosophy anymore, it's psychology. And another thing is it's so interesting. Most people value relationships. So most people who become impersonalists because that's what they heard. And so they'll all talk about relationships. Relationships are important. Relationships this, relationships that. And then it comes to their relationship with God, and they make it impersonal. It doesn't make any sense. That means they've been innocently cheated. Right? That's what I say. Is that okay? Okay. All right, should we stop? We went over an hour. Well, it's very late in Australia now. Okay, so we're going to, next Saturday night, I'll be doing the japa workshop, and I won't be able to give class. There is a rumor that we could broadcast the japa workshop. It starts Wednesday, Indian time at 10 o'clock, ends Indian time at 6. That's probably when most of you who are not in India are sleeping, or part of the time you're sleeping. But I'm trying to find out if they have internet connection, because if we broadcast the whole thing on ourselves, then we'll have to buy 40 gigabytes of data. I don't know how much data you can get at one time, but or maybe it's 3/4 of a gigabyte per hour, and we go 30 hours, yeah, so we have to buy 20 gigabytes, then we could maybe broadcast, so we'll see if they make such a thing. Okay? Hare Krishna. So see you next time, everyone. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gauda Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol.